So I just wanted to check in on Trump, on the Trump train, because there's been a new development. A couple of days ago, it was a couple of days ago now, Super Tuesday. One more Super Tuesday has been and gone. Only comes around once every 4 years. But both Biden and Trump dominated Super Tuesday. And if anyone who doesn't know, it's just one particular Tuesday where a lot of states do their voting for the candidates. And at least in the Republican side of things, the convention isn't until July, isn't until the summer. But nonetheless, he hasn't formally got the candidacy, but it's 99.99% locked in. He's got it. Nikki Haley has pulled out, stopped her campaign. So
yeah, it would be foolish if they didn't really go for him as the candidate.
Oh no, he's got it. There's not really any path where he wouldn't get it now. Because on Tuesday, there was, I think, 14 or 15 states decide, and that gives you enough delegates to sort of get through.
I saw quite a few so-called moderates going like, no, with Nikki Haley gone, the GOP is dead, the moderates branch of the GOP is gone forever. Why can't you all just be leftist neocons like we want you to be, is the main complaint they're throwing out.
Yeah. But so it looks like, well, if you scroll down there, actually, Callum, for us, you can see Trump, she won Vermont, which is, Vermont's a relatively small state, to be quite honest. But look, you can see the numbers there. Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, he didn't just win, he trounced it, right?
Sorry for the interruption. I'm Father Calvin Robinson, and you can watch my Common Sense Crusade at 3 p.m. on Thursdays, only on lotuseaters.com, where you can sign up for as little as £5 per month. Deus Vult.
Sort of dominated, absolutely dominated it.
It is interesting to see how many people still vote for Nikki Haley after the fact that she's been exposed as just a pure corrupt individual who may very well be working for the Democrats.
One thing I'll say on that is that it's sort of, you only had him or her to choose from. I mean, you could still do a protest vote.
None of the above.
You could do a none of the above thing.
My understanding is that Joe Biden, he is actually running against none of the above, and none of the above is in second place.
Right, exactly.
There are other candidates, but they just are doing worse than none of the above.
Yeah. So if you were, say you're a Republican and you didn't want to spoil your ballot or just stay away, but you didn't want Trump, then the only person you could really vote for is Nikki Haley. So it's sort of, even though you could make the argument, she won 30-40% of the votes here and there, it doesn't mean that's a true reflection of her popularity. You could make the same argument with Trump, but nonetheless, you see that he dominated it.
Just trying to see if I could find that Democratic version to show you. So I can't remember which state it is, but one of them is just, I think, like 10% in the primary voted for nobody rather than Biden. It's a significant thing of unpopularity even within his own party.
Yeah. So like when you're the incumbent president, you don't get a free pass as such, but quite often your party won't stand against you. So Biden, I think there was one state where an independent beat him. Sometimes you get anomalies like that. I think there was one state where you either beat Biden or you came close to beating him. But Biden did a similar thing to Trump here, which you would expect for an incumbent president, to kind of sweep Super Tuesday and to just, kind of glide in to being your party's candidate for the next one.
So it is confirmed now. We're just going to have a rerun of the last time.
That's basically what this segment is about. That, we're kind of now locked into, it is going to be Trump v. Biden in November 24.
I still can't believe they've gone with Biden.
I know.
So what do you make? There's some conspiracy theories, which I'm not saying that to diminish them. It's just the idea is there's a conspiracy in the DNC to make sure Biden wins the nomination, so to lock out people like JFK Jr. And then you just have him removed.
Airdrop in a Rishi Sunak type, like happened in the Conservatives.
Some people have suggested Gavin Newsom or Kamala, just to get rid of the utter stench that is him. That's not a ridiculous strategy for them, is it? It's far from ridiculous.
Why would they not already go for someone like Newsom as the candidate if they were going to do that? Do they think that his electoral prospects aren't quite as good? Because as far as I can tell, he's very popular.
The theory, as I understand it, is that obviously if you run the incumbent, he'll just win.
So you
do that, keep it nice and stable, and then you just coup him. I don't know if it's true.
Oh no,
Saying it's
he
out there.
had a stroke and died.
Yeah.
Or really
no.
call into question his cognitive abilities. And say,
Well, he himself.
we have to replace him.
He himself would presumably come out and be like, I'm too old.
All right.
It turns out.
Yeah.
By the
That's
way,
not crazy. That could totally happen.
Joe
right?
Biden comes out. I just wet myself. Here's Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sincerely, that may happen. Like,
Joe Biden slips, shits himself on stage. Gavin
Again.
Newsom comes out.
I did want to say,
Gavin Newsom comes out with a big comedy brush, sweeps him off stage.
I do want to say there was one funny thing in the Trump versus Haley category as well. As you can't see it on here, obviously, but she won DC.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of Trump supporters posting that, being like, "Oh, thank God we lost DC." That would have been
Right, yeah, we
embarrassing.
don't even want it. Yeah.
That's embarrassing if you win that.
Because of course DC is tiny, isn't it? Tiny.
DC's a city.
Yeah.
There's a independence.
But it's the swamp.
Um,
You don't want the swamp's endorsement.
also, another reason why I think maybe the Democrats are going with Biden, or at least on paper for now, is that it is massively embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing to have Biden as your candidate, full stop. But it's also really embarrassing to sort of switch horses mid race, if you know. It was like, especially if there isn't anything truly.
I suppose for the Democrats, it would look really bad if
Yeah.
Biden was still in office and then they went, actually,
He's too retarded to be in office, but he must stay there.
Because then it really does underlines that we were wrong to pick him in the first place. If you say, we don't want you to run in 2024, or we're not going to let you run in 2024.
a remarkable admission.
It does admit that he was the wrong guy in 2020.
You know, now that we've said it out loud,
despite getting the most votes of any
Most
president.
popular president of all time.
but now we've said it out loud, I'm thinking I kind of want to put a 75% chance on him saying, "Oh, I've had health problems. Bye." Like that, he legitimately could do that, and they'd want him to.
Two advisors come out with holding him. He's got his arms on their shoulders, and they're like, you see someone moving his jaw up and down. I'm Joe Biden. And I quit. And then they leave. They scurry him off quickly. Full Weekend at Bernie's style.
And there's just a stick comes out from the side of the. It just pulls really slowly, hooks around his neck, and pulls him slowly off stage. Stage left, exit stage left. No, so yeah, it will be Joe versus Trump, assuming neither of them dies between now and November for whatever reason.
And Trump is pretty old himself now. To be
he's
fair.
no spring chicken. He obviously still has all his faculties. He's still funny. He seems to be in fairly rude health, despite being, a bit heavy, overweight, which he himself admits to. But he's obviously in sort of fairly okay, or if not fine.
And he doesn't drink.
Mental
He's a
condition.
massive germaphobe, so
Right.
I imagine he keeps himself as healthy as possible, despite the McDonald's.
When people are dying, they sort of often look like they're sort of gaunt or sort of got a grey look about. Well, everything Biden's got. The man looks as though he's dying. Trump doesn't seem to have any of that, right? He's still got a spring in his step. He's still as quick as ever with verbal stuff, right? But yeah, you're right to say he's no spring chicken. But yeah, Biden is the oldest president ever, which is a sort of a remarkable stat, isn't it? You could go to the second.
I wouldn't be shocked if he does get in. He could be, what would it be, the third or fourth time the president has died in office. If Biden gets in again, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. What was there? Polk died. One of the little-known presidents.
Oh, yeah.
James Polk. He died in office just of natural causes. Well, I think we mentioned him in the office the other day. Didn't he? He got pneumonia and died within months of becoming president.
It was worse than that. So a friend of mine told me the story. He's American, so if he's got something wrong, blame him. He won the election and then decided that he would give a speech outside in his inauguration, and it was raining, and he was like, "I ain't no pussy. I'll go in the rain." And then he's an old man in the rain for a long time. So he just got pneumonia and died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's bad.
I shouldn't be laughing, but
That could happen to Biden as well. That's the even funnier part.
Joe Biden goes out in the rain, slips on banana peel.
Literally dies.
And of course, there's been quite a few presidents that have been murdered while in office. Lincoln, JFK, Garfield, McKinley. It happened. Out of less than 50 presidents, to have 4 of them being murdered in office is pretty much. Or FDR died in office, didn't he, of natural causes. So anyway, Yeah, so in November, we will look forward to a rerun. Now, the thing about that is that quite often in politics, if you ran for something and lost, it used to be the case. It's not the case so much in our day and age anymore, but it always used to be the case. If you ran for anything ever and lost, you were then just branded as a loser from then on. And you were just sort of toxic as a political candidate because you had a shot, you failed. Now, that's still the case nowadays, but just not
Have you
anywhere
met
near
Hillary
as much.
Clinton?
Right, yeah. It's not anywhere. I mean, it wasn't always the case. I mean, Grover Cleveland was the only other guy ever to become president, lose, and then come back, or a non-consecutive president twice. The only other guy ever to have done that. So it looks like Trump, maybe the second person ever to sort of achieve that. And I'm pretty sure you can't, because there is a law that you can't be president more than twice. They passed that after FDR.
Yeah.
And I believe that is, it would be the case that even if, say, Trump did win in November this year, I don't think he would be allowed to run again. He's had his 2 shots. The fact that they're non-consecutive doesn't matter. I might be wrong about that. If anyone out there,
correct.
is that correct? Okay, great. Oh, well, not great, but
Because the funny point is, what is it? Jimmy Carter? Like, he could run again.
right.
99 years old. But
Yeah.
Imagine Biden does drop dead.
we're replacing it with Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, drop Carter in.
Or they run Biden in 2028. He loses to Trump this year, and they run him in 28. Yeah, whatever happens, even if Trump wins in November this year, you'll only have 4 more years of Trump. That's all it could ever be. So it's not that crazy to start looking at 2028. Will it be Newsom versus Haley in 2028? Who are the next crop? Because it won't be by.
I think it's
Trump.
vomited a little bit.
It's Trump and Biden this year, but it will not be Trump and Biden again, right? So, obviously, what happens this year and the next 4 years is sort of the main thing in our focus. But it's not that crazy to start looking ahead to what will the next tranche of politicians be. How much can Trump reverse things and save America and save the West in 4 years? I mean, with the best will in the world, who knows? But nothing stops. Nothing ever stops. History is relentless in that way. History is the one that knocks. You're not getting away from it. It will not end, despite what Francis Fukuyama says. It will the relentless march of history. Can we have a look at there's where Nikki drops out that link or that one? Yeah, so she did finally give up. It became clear that she's just not going to get the delegates required to be any kind of rival to Trump. It's just not going to happen. So she eventually finally capitulated. And if we maybe play a little bit of what she's saying.
But the time has now come to suspend my campaign.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I said I wanted Americans to have their voices heard. I have done that. I have no regrets. In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July.
Robot mode.
I congratulate him and wish him
congratulate
well.
him.
I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us.
Okay.
I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, "Never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind." It is now up to Donald
Can we
Trump to
stop
earn
this?
the votes of
Yeah,
those in
stop
our
playing
party
that.
and
Yeah.
beyond.
We get it. She
I
dropped
was
out.
playing it more because
Oh.
I just wanted to test your whole robot voice.
She sounds like text-to-speech.
Yeah. The hell?
Yeah.
I seem to remember her not being that bad, but in terms of sounding like a robot, but there we are.
I mean, charisma vacuum, right?
Yeah. So for now, she can get in the bin of history. For now, she's done. She's over. But I doubt it's the last you'll ever hear of Nikki Haley. Like I say, looking at 2028 or beyond. I mean, if you go this far in politics, it means that you're sort of a named person. You're sort of a named entity.
You have
She's a household name now, for better or worse. Well,
You
for worse,
also
obviously.
have someone backing you and someone funding you. And if they've already invested a load of money into you, this is likely being the forerunner to a much bigger campaign.
Yeah.
There's the potential of that in the future.
If you contest any leadership race, even if you do quite badly, you're then in the running for any sort of future thing, or potentially, possibly. So, I doubt we've seen the end of her. And in 2028, whatever happens, the Republicans, there's going to be a bum fight. There's going to be some sort of mass brawl, some sort of maelstrom of like 30 candidates, each with some sort of realistic chance in 2028 to be the Republican candidate, right? Unless Trump, designates an heir apparent or something, which might happen. Who knows what's going to happen?
It's going to end up Haley versus Ramaswamy, isn't it? Just like Silicon Valley, the Indians are taking over.
And then you're stuck in that thing where, both the candidates are not good. Imagine you're a Republican.
Some would support Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
Certainly over Haley.
Sure, right, yeah.
Not that I'm a huge fan of his or anything, but certainly he seemed to be saying a lot of the right things that was getting some of the voter base excited under the GOP.
And it looks like Ramaswamy is in Trump's, perhaps he's not in an inner entourage, or he's in an inner circle of power, but he's certainly in the orbit of Trump, and Trump's obviously greenlit that, is okay with that. He had him speak and things, and so Ramaswamy is sort of in the Trump ascendancy on some level, whatever that is, whatever that means. So we'll see. And then there's a clip there of Trump. His sort of acceptance speech.
You want to play this?
Was it that one? Yeah. Let's skip forward the
Wait, oh no.
For God's sakes, the music. Sorry, I just have to laugh at that.
This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time. November 5th is going to go down as the single most important day in the history of our country. Because somebody on his staff thinks he looks very good in a bathing suit. Until he can't get his feet out of the sand or lift the chair, which weighs about 9 ounces. Joe Biden, if he would have just left everything alone, he could have gone to the beach. He would have had a tremendous success at the border and elsewhere. But they come into our country, we're going to stop them. We're going to close our borders. We're going to have to deport a lot of people, a lot of bad people, because our countries can't live like this. Our cities are choking to death. Our states are dying. And frankly, our country is dying. And we're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. It's been a big night. Thank you very much.
But yeah,
I mean, how could you vote for Haley over that on pure presence alone?
It's actually funny. He's funny.
He's great. You'd probably get a better stand-up going to a Trump rally than you would going to a comedy club these days.
But the fact he said, not just sort of a net zero migration, but we're going to deport people. A lot of people. I mean,
at least 6 million. 6 million have
illegally... Is that the figure he's actually given?
Well, 6 million have illegally broken in under Biden at the southern border alone. Never mind being flown in. So yeah, all 6 million of them have got to go.
You must be careful of that. That can be cropped. You've got to be careful with that number.
For God's
it's a
sakes.
loaded number.
Fine, 6.31 million.
I was wondering exactly what you meant.
It just happens to be the same number. It'll be 8 million by the end of Biden's term.
We've just got a clip of Callum saying 6 million. They've all got to go. I mean, well, now me saying it.
You fools!
I fell for the old.
Don't worry, I'm talking about Mexicans.
Trump with strong words, and we'll see what happens between now and November. But I shall keep doing segments whenever there's something significant to report on ye old Trump train. And we'll see what happens. But I suppose I'll bring my segment to an end there.
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium contents on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode with Aaron McIntyre. If you'd like to find out what else has been put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.